East Africa, the upper part of it is full of civil war. When you go to Eastern Congo, decades of war, decades upon decades and decades. This war has never been solved. The conflict in the Eastern Congo of Goma, Kivu, the M23, the government of Congo cannot even agree to talk, to have a conversation with these rebels, because there's something we cannot understand why a war will take so many years. Just a group of young people who have decided, you know what, we are going to cause trouble. Who is funding them? Who is giving them arms? That's the problem. You should be asking yourself that question. And all we can do is blame. What's up, people? It's Fadil Mola, of course, in the building on Star Media. And of course, you're chilling with me, Fadil Mola, in the building. So today, without wasting any time, I wanted to talk about the African Union Conference 2024, which is happening in the Addis Ababa, okay? And we're going to look at the issues that they are going to talk about. The first issues that they are talking about is education, preparation for the elections of members of the African Union Commission, the institutional financial reforms, agriculture, climate, health advancement, and empowerment of women. Among other things, I'm just guessing. So, and one thing I'm going to say about this is that this is all total nonsense. Total nonsense. African Union is like a toothless dog. They are just barking, and they can do nothing. Actually, so far so bad. They've been able to do nothing. Because now, what's the use of having a union that is not helping in anything? You guys are just talking, and you are doing nothing. If there's something that you should be focused on as an African Union, okay? Focus on much more pressing matters, okay? I don't know which conference, I don't know which year was that, but I remember Kwame Nkrumah said, by the time we leave, that is what he said. He said, by the time we leave, we should come up with by the time we leave this conference, we should come up with our own currency. We should come up with how we're going to open borders for freedom of trade. We should come out of this conference with a more united Africa than ever. How many years from then? We are still here. Every time when I watch those conferences, I still see Caucasian faces. And I'm not saying we don't have Caucasian faces in Africa. It's okay, but that tells me a lot. If you are a Caucasian face and you attend the meeting and you are from Africa, it's okay. But you still see Caucasian faces who are they have never been to Africa. This is their first time to be in Africa, and you see them in those meetings. Tells you a lot about that. Africa, we still have the colonies here. They are still controlling us. Why? Why do we still have Anglophones, Europhones? Why are we so divided as a continent? This is all total nonsense. The key issues that you are going to talk about this year, it is total nonsense. Africa should come up with one currency. You should be focusing on that. If Africa was united, if the African Union was working, we could be having our own currencies. We could be having the borders of Africa would be open to every African living in the continent and outside the continent for trade and tourism, so that we can grow and empower each other. When you go to Europe, there are no borders. And you wonder why. You wonder why people keep on running over there. We have West Africans running, crossing the Sahara Desert, running to Europe. And you wonder, what are you running away? You are running to the same continent, to the same people that enslaved you. Why do you run away from a place? The only time you run away from a place is because there is no freedom. And freedom is a composition of so many things. Don't talk about you are a free man because you're not in chains. No, you're not free. Mentally, you're not. Economically, you're not. Socially, you're not. Politically, you're not. Africa, we are still in chains. We might talk about how the colonials left this continent physically, but they are still here. They still control us. Hell yeah. And that is why we cannot live without them. That is why you see so many young people are crossing the Sahara Desert, risking their life to go become streets vendors, to go become, sleep in the streets of Belgium, street in the streets of England, Paris, France, and you feel it's okay. In East Africa, we might not be running, we might not be crossing the Sahara Desert, but I bet you if we were close to the Sahara Desert, we could be crossing over there and going over there to look for better opportunities. We say we are looking for greener pastures, but there's a saying, the greener pastures, the grass is only greener where you water the ground. Yes, we need to build our own Africa here. If these African leaders who are coming together in Addis Ababa to talk about key issues, let the key issues first be come up with our own currency as a continent, open borders for trade and tourism. You should start with that first. When you start talking about empowering women, health advancement, where are you getting all this money from? If we cannot trade freely amongst our own people, if we cannot empower each other, where are we getting this money from? There's no money. You can never get that from anyone. And that is why we are making a very big mistake as a continent. I'm going to address issues in each and every region, starting with West Africa. West Africa is known to produce one of the best footballers, soccer players in the whole world. But you know what? Most of them play for France. They play for all those European teams. Yes. And you see them all the time. Canary Islands is full of Senegalians, people from Senegal, all these young people running through the sea, risking their lives to be on the boats. So many of these young people die on the way. But they don't care. As long as I get to leave this continent, I never see this place again, I'm fine with that. Yes. They are fine. They don't want to live in this continent. They are ready. That is one of the biggest problems we have in West Africa. In West Africa, in the Sahel region, we have all these countries, Guinea, Chad, all those countries, military have taken over. And we ask ourselves, what is going on? The economy is so bad that young people only want to leave because of the political instabilities in Sudan, in the South Sudan, in East Africa, in Somalia. Somalis are all over this place. In Kenya, yes, there might not be refugees all over the world from Kenya, but I can tell you something over here. Every young person is looking to go away, to leave this continent and go and be successful somewhere else. East Africa, the upper part of it is full of civil war. When you go to Eastern Congo, decades of war, decades upon decades and decades. This war has never been solved. The conflict in the Eastern Congo of Goma, Kivu, the M23, the government of Congo cannot even agree to talk, to have a conversation with these rebels. Because there's something we cannot understand why a war will take so many years. Just a group of young people who have decided, you know what, we are going to cause trouble. Who is funding them? Who is giving them arms? That's the problem. You should be asking yourself that question. And all we can do is blame, point fingers to each other. The DRC is pointing fingers at Rwanda. The Ugandans are pointing fingers at Rwanda. The Burundis are pointing fingers at Rwanda. What is going on in this continent? Have we lost our faith in us? Have we lost the mandate to understand that the only person who can solve the problems in our own homes is us? We're not waiting for a Muzungu to come from wherever they come from to come over here and solve problems. No. We have talked about coming up with one currency here in East Africa. It's a problem. Because why? The economic fight between Kenya and Tanzania. The other day, Tanzanians banned the Kenyan Airways from traveling from Nairobi to Dar es Salaam because they could not agree on a certain thing in the economy, in trade. I'm like, okay, at the end of the day, they came up with an agreement and they solved the problem. But I'm like, what is going on in this continent? We talk about how Africa should be united, but we are so divided. When you go down to South Africa, xenophobia. The biggest problem we have in South Africa is xenophobia. The groups there called, I don't know, what's the name? Dudula. What is Dudula? Kick out or throw out, move out. The South Africans, somebody came to you and told you that the problem, the poverty amongst the black people in South Africa is because of your fellow black Africans who come over there and take over your jobs. But I can tell you for sure that most of the black Africans in South Africa, they have their own businesses. And then they don't take away your jobs, they do their business. And as a matter of fact, they come over there and create more employment to South Africa. And your government fails you because the government doesn't care. You should ask yourself, why, if the government does care for you so much, why is it so hard for the government to kick out all these illegal, all these foreigners who are doing some illegal businesses over there? Why? South Africans are good people, and I've met them. But I have heard so many things about them and of how they hate their fellow black Africans. But you still love You would rather have these foreigners who colonized you people than have your brothers and sisters from other African fellow countries, which you speak the same language with. And the question today is Africa really united? Is African Union a toothless dog, or is it working? Are we talking about the real matters? And today, I want to address the African Union. Before you talk about anything else, you should talk about freedom of opening all borders to each other. Open all borders. Let's have one currency. And maybe we can start uniting from there. Let us start uniting from there. One currency, one continent that is full of love. Until next time, see you.